the majority leader, Honorable Afenyo-Markin, went to seek a stay on the decision of the Speaker, which I think is absolutely within our rights to do. Not so. I just find it strange that there are several attempts by several people that I actually respect in the NDC side using all manner of unsavory words against the justice system just because in this case it didn't seem to go their way. And I don't even think it's over. It's just a stay or an injunction that has been granted. The substantive matter has not even been decided. So I don't know why they are all up in arms. And after all, there are legitimate ways to get a majority in Parliament. It's not by accosting or trying to usurp what the spirit of the Constitution was at that time. I don't think the framers of the Constitution intended that this article would be used to disenfranchise people who have voted for their parliamentary candidate to be in Parliament. After all, I've heard the NDC say a lot about precedents. But this is not the first time we've had this kind of issue with an MP seeking to go independent, or an independent MP seeking to join the party. Let's take the case of Fomena. In the 2020 election, the MPPs Nana Akufo-Addo and Nana Addo Akufo-Addo had about 79% or something. Let me quote it correctly. He had 74% in that area. In Agona West, where Cynthia Morrison was, I think it was also about 60%. So these seats that the minority, the NDC minority in Parliament is seeking to quash are all strongholds that they will not win. NDC is not going to pick up these 3 seats should we vote this evening. So what are they on about? Is this the only way they think they can come to get a majority for themselves? After all, this is not the first time they entered Parliament as an independent candidate. True. He was never asked to vacate his seat when after that he sought to join the MPP side in that 2012 election. In the same 2012, there's an incumbent NDC MP for Lower Menya Kobo. He was also an independent candidate. I don't think the same sanctions were put on him. So for the NDC, I just have one question to ask them. What has changed? Why are they so interested in seeking this illegitimate majority? It doesn't change anything. And I've heard them go on.
You call it illegitimate?
Yes,
why?
Because you haven't gone to the polls for people to give you those seats.
That's not the only.
You are seeking for a seat to be vacated.
It's not the only means.
There's become a consensus that is the High Court that should have that authority to do that by Article 99. So. And then there is also clear in the same constitution that we use, this country practices supremacy of the constitution over everything. There's also there enshrined clearly in Article 130 where we should go to if we have a dispute in the interpretations of the Supreme Court of Parliament. And it's absolutely clear. So what is the issue? What's funny is that NDC on several occasions have gone to the Supreme Court with matters that concern Parliament. At that point, they didn't see anything wrong with the actions of the Supreme Court because it was in their favor. Even in the case where Zanetto Rawlings and the NDC were put before the High Court, and they did not like the ruling there, they took the matter up to the Supreme Court, and then it was ruled in their favor. It was also about the issue of parliamentary seats. At that point, the NDC did not see anything wrong with going to the Supreme Court to seek clarification on a matter of the Constitution that applies to them. But now they are singing a different tune. Why? Why are they singing this tune at this point in time? I have always maintained that it is because they have nothing else to say. They are hoping to distract the conversation from now till December 7th so that we cannot get to the nitty-gritties of the problem, like to compare, because you are bringing somebody that has been president before. So we can look at his record and look at what he plans to do and be able to compare. They are doing everything in their power to prevent that kind of comparison. Today, when you were going through the newspapers, we heard Nana Addo commissioning the 110-bed facility in Kolebu, the Nephrology and Urology Center of Excellence. And from now till December, a lot more health facilities will be commissioned, especially about 30 from Agenda 111 that are almost complete, and we are just putting together the finishing touches so we can open them. Agona West, which is one of the seats in dispute, is actually getting a hospital as well. And the people there are happy about this hospital they are getting because it is decentralizing healthcare for them. People are going to be employed, about 500 people are going to be employed. Now, because we've digitized the health records as well, people who have IT credentials are also going to be employed in these areas. These are the kinds of conversations we're expecting to have. Not that you are trying to steal majority in Parliament for 2 months when you really have no case.
If you steal,
that's exactly what's going on.
To use?
No, okay. So the Speaker of Parliament came up with a decision about vacating 4 seats. We don't believe that he was right in that ruling.
So
we've done
stealing?
We've done what is right and what should be done by sending the case to the appropriate courts for interpretation.
No,
then you come out. I'll come to it. Then you come out and issue a press conference saying that you will jealously guard the majority. So in that case, you have this. It was never yours to begin with.
So they are stealing?
Yes, it was not theirs to begin with. So yes, they are stealing. It's not theirs. Those 3 seats are not going to come to you in 2024. It's not going to come to you in the foreseeable future. Why don't you focus on what is important, like talking to the people and selling your failed campaign to them to see if you can resurrect it? But no, you just go and play with all these things. And I don't know, I'm really struggling to see what the NDC can come up with as their defense for what they are doing now. Because there are several instances of them going to the Supreme Court over parliamentary issues. So what is the problem if the MPP does sing? That's all I have to ask them. And why do they always have to pull down legitimate government institutions when it doesn't go their way? When the Honorable Minority Leader, Ato Forson's case, was thrown out of, I think, the High Court or by the Appeals Court, they were jubilating. At that point, you didn't have any problem against the Supreme Court.
That was not a parliamentary case.
No, I'm just talking about, it's also the court system.
No.
It's the court system.
Don't mix the two.
No, because what the NDC is doing now is throwing stones at the court.
I'm saying that when you say Ato Forson's case, that was Ato Forson's case.
He was the minority leader.
It doesn't matter, but it was not a parliamentary.
He's also a leading member of the NDC.
No, but it was not a parliamentary case.
The point of this is to prove that when issues go their way in the court system, they sing a different song. So yes, Ato Forson's case can be cited perfectly. The issue of Zaneto Rawlings can be cited perfectly.
No, but you said earlier that when they take a parliament case to court, it's not an issue, but when you do, it's an issue. And I'm saying that Ato Forson's case was not a parliamentary case.
No, so me bringing up Ato Forson's case is not on the back of that. It's on the back of them bastardizing the judiciary whenever things don't go their way. If you go to court and the verdict is what you like, all well and good. But if you go to court and the verdict is not what you like, then you come out and call Supreme Court judges all manner of names. Yesterday, I watched an interview from a leading member of the NDC. This person is also on record in 2020 at that time when the Fomina MP was asked to vacate his seat. That is unreasonable and he should take it to court. This same person now does not understand why the MPP has sent it to court and even came down to use very unsavory words on the Supreme Court judges. For what? Just because that it didn't go your way. Can we stop that? Can we move away from that kind of politics of trying to throw everything into chaos when things don't go your way?
So what did the court do? Did they rule on the matter or they just granted a stay?
They granted a stay. That's what I started my submission with. Because you have to, before all of this goes on, we are probing the actions of the Speaker.
Why will the court
grant
a stay on Parliament's decision?
Why not?
On what law?
Do you know that after the e-levy was passed, the NDC went to Parliament to seek an injunction? It's something that the courts are capable of doing.
The courts are capable of. Which law are you using to justify that? Of granting stay on parliamentary decision? Which law?
So the issue at the base was the interpretation of the Constitution. And the Constitution states clearly in Article 130 who has the right to oversee those processes, which we can quote now, exactly, to interpret it. So why can't the Supreme Court, I don't know if you have any reason as to why the Supreme Court should not be able to grant a stay on a matter of Parliament. You can let me know.
The Supreme Court,
there's no law that hinders the Supreme Court.
The absolute responsibility to interpret the Constitution. Yes, but it does not stop any institution, especially Parliament, to interpret their law as well.
No, how does it say? No, I think the wording used there, it is absolutely clear. You are the only body that is allowed to make interpretation on the Constitution is the Supreme Court. If it looks like the Speaker of Parliament has tried to interpret the Constitution in a way that both sides don't agree with, and they need clarification, they absolutely have the right to seek recourse in the Supreme Court.
The Speaker did not clearly, if you read the Speaker's statement before the final conclusion, it did not say that I don't get the clarity, so we have to go to court. From the Speaker's ruling, it's clear how he understood. He explained it from A to Z.
Yes, that's the way the Speaker understands it and the NDC side understands it. The NPP holds a different view to this, and so we have every right to send it to the appropriate quarters for interpretation, which is a very simple matter. So if you're a Ghanaian, you're a patriotic Ghanaian, like the NDC wants us to believe,
my question
and
is,
you believe in the rule of law, why don't you just allow the system to go through? So my question is, did
the courts interpret the law?
They haven't even gotten there. The court has the authority to absolutely say,
the court granted a stay.
Well, yes.
So my question is, on what law did the court grant a stay?
We would have to ask the Supreme Court judges for that. I'm sure they wrote a judgment, and then we can read that. There's no way they will go out of their remits, and I don't think anybody in the NDC has come out to say... Okay, I'll go through it. Thank you. I don't think anybody has come out to say that the Supreme Court granting a stay was unconstitutional. I've not heard anybody say that. All they are saying is that Parliament, hold on, let us... No, I've not heard anybody. If you've heard it, you can let me know. It's possible. The things coming out from the NDC side, honestly, it is horrible. And I really think, Beatrice, you should call some of your people to order. Because why are they on social media bringing up the allegations of some things in the past about when the judges were murdered and comparing it to this current situation? These are not rhetorics that we should entertain in this country. And I call on all senior members of the NDC to call their base to order to stop sharing that, because it's dangerous. We all live in a free and fair country.
To stop sharing what?
I'll send it to you. I don't know if you were on social media over the weekend. There are so many posts from the NDC side likening what is going on to the allegations made against former President Rawlings about killing the judges. They put these things side by side. And that's something that I don't think should be entertained in 2024. If something doesn't go your way, let the processes run down. How are you even sure that the Supreme Court is going to rule in our favor on the substantive issue? All they are saying is a stay has been granted. So Parliament, halt proceedings so that we can decide. Is the NDC telling us that they are not going to listen to the ruling of the Supreme Court? I mean, are they a party that does not obey the laws of the country? Do they believe that they are above the law? They are bigger than the rest of us, and so the laws of the land do not apply to them? These are the questions that I have for them this morning. Because it is clear, you go to the Supreme Court whenever you have problems of such natures, and you believe it. But when we go to the Supreme Court, and then it's not even the final ruling, a stay has been implemented, why are you saying you will not oblige?
So this was in the precedent thing that you cited in Michael Quay's ruling. He says that the Constitution of the NPP, which the MP freely subscribes to provides in Article 3, Clause 9, Subsection 1, that a member of the party who stands as an independent candidate against the officially elected member of the party or joins or defers his or her support for another political party or for an independent candidate when a party has sponsored a candidate in the general or by-election automatically forfeits his or her membership of the party. This is the party's constitution. The moment the MP files his candidature with the Office of the Electoral Commission to contest the next elections as an independent candidate, it shows clearly that he seeks to leave the party. He didn't even indicate here that the party wrote to Parliament. He said he seeks to leave the party, because I'm making the argument that in this case, the party wrote to Parliament that, oh, we have removed him from our party. So this is what. But in his ruling, these were his words. This is what the Constitution is saying. So therefore, when you take this decision, automatically you forfeit.
See, that's where one
now,
of the issues
there is the argument of, oh,
it's nowhere
that ruling was
in
wrong.
This Constitution. Automatically, it's not written anywhere here. A member of Parliament shall vacate his seat in Parliament. Let's come quickly to G. If he leaves the party of which he was a member at the time of his election to Parliament to join another party or seeks to remain in Parliament as an independent member. So that the argument that the MPP has here is, are you seek to remain in this current parliament? Because these people are not seeking to remain in this current parliament as independent members of parliament. And then Honorable Esiama, who is independent, is not seeking to remain in this current parliament as an MPP member. It's all against the next parliament. So what do? We send this to the appropriate courts. Let the Supreme Court interpret. Why are you so hell-bent on jumping the gun? Why are you so hell-bent in usurping a majority that you haven't earned? That's all we are saying here. And there are several instances where this rule we are talking about has not been applied. Honorable Joe Wise went into parliament as an independent candidate, and finally he came back to the MPP. At that time, because you had a majority of about 7 members of parliament, more than the MPP, you didn't see it as an issue and you didn't talk about it. So why are you doing it now? There's somebody I've quoted who is also from your party who did the same. You didn't do anything about it. And if you look at the procedures, people say that parliamentary proceedings, the precedent is basically not set in stone. You don't have to abide by the precedent of a previous speaker.
Even the speaker said it.
Yes, he doesn't have to abide by everybody. But when you look at the way these things have been structured and the ways they've happened over the years, it is like a stipulation in the Constitution to prevent cross-carpeting, so that what is happening now doesn't happen. But funny enough, that's exactly what is being used for, so that somebody doesn't join the party, come into parliament on the ticket of the party, then seek to go independent and hold the party as ransom for that. So then the Constitution gives you the party the power to say, okay, I've sacked you, and so you should vacate your seat. But that's not the same thing happening here, and I don't see why we are jumping the gun. The issues are before the qualified body of the land to interpret. So let me borrow your words, whom am I to try and make inferences in this matter? The only thing that is clear is that we have every right to do what we've done, and that the NDC should comply, unless they want to tell us they are a party that does not believe in rule of law, they are a party that believes that they are above the people of Ghana and they can do whatever they want. Because we really want to hear from them on this matter. It is clear. You are no longer the majority you sought to usurp. The plan has fallen down flat.